Yo, 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 yo. What it do? It is RB22, episode 49, Texas Ring of Fire. Harry, Jose, got him in here. Guys, look at this man. If you can't see it, if you're listening on Spotify or App Podcast, he has an Inter Miami jersey on. And the guy is just here for the banter. He's ready for it today, man. I love the energy, Jose. Inter Miami fan already.
Already,
Barca
bro.
2.0 over here forming with Eden Hazard. You know, I guess he's a Barcelona guy at heart. I don't know. But
didn't do anything for Madrid, so we might take it.
Yeah, well, man, overrated guy. That's a different discussion though. But what's on the back of the jersey? Anything?
Bro, you already know who it is. I wish I could.
Bro, let me see. Let me see it.
It's the GOAT.
You know it's the GOAT. There ain't nobody else in that jersey, bro. It's the greatest of all
sick,
time.
bro.
The greatest human being to ever lace up a pair of football boots, Lionel Andres Messi.
I agree. I mean, he kind of took that over this past winter at the World Cup. Before the argument was still there, but after that, forget it, because the international level the World Cup, that's just who wins that. Who wins that?
Current time GOAT, because where do you rank him in all-time history? What are you talking about?
Oh, number one, bro.
Still?
Number one, bro. Number one, yes. I think he's the best to ever do it.
It's got to be. Harry, it's got to be. I know you're old school, man. It's got to be. It's got to be.
I'm new to
the
game.
He saw cavemen kick rocks. So.
Well, I grew up in an era where soccer didn't exist in the United States, so...
Fair, but... We got the GOAT in MLS now. I mean, trust me, bro. I don't know if I'm gonna do it every time on this show. I know I didn't get a chance to have this kit available when Austin tied Inter Miami. That would have been amazing.
Yeah,
that would have been the best timing in the world.
You're not far off.
Not far off, but like, bro, I was like, when I saw this, I was like,
well,
I'm rocking the next episode.
We haven't had a show since then, though, right?
Yeah, no, we haven't. But that would have been like
it
perfect
feels like
timing.
A long time.
If I had it then.
It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. But
I do have one question, because this is going to tie into the Gold Cup. Jose, you got your FC Dallas kit, so you can change it just like you did at the Gold Cup, where you started in the United States kit, and then you switched to Mexico. Is that what we're going to see?
I know that's sacrilegious. I don't
Mexican American.
Mexican American. You see the both flags in my background. I've been rocking.
No, I do.
Yes, sir.
But I will say this, bro. I got more than a little bit of shit. It wasn't even just from Harry. It was from multiple people. And I'll say this, boys. It's in the pecking order of things. It is a slight edge to the U.S. men's national team and then Mexico. But I'm still heartbroken, especially when you see this side of Mexico losing to fucking Qatar. Anyway, we'll get into it. I think Gold Cup is interesting how it's all panning out. There's a slight chance I might still go to the game, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, so Gold Cup is going on right now. Group stages done. They're all done. U.S. men's national team, just kind of taking care of business. Besides the Jamaica game, that Jamaica game, I feel like bad day in the office for the U.S.
fair
men's national
result,
team.
though.
Fair result.
It was fair. So U.S. Jamaica through 7 points each. USA wins the group. Mexico, Qatar through. That one was, Qatar beating Mexico. Crazy. Scenes. And then the fans.
Didn't make much of a difference, but scenes nonetheless.
But the fans, bro. The way they reacted, man. That's sad.
That's a whole separate subject. But to me, I don't know. I know Qatar won on the scoreboard, but anybody who watched that game knew Mexico was beating the hell out of Qatar. They just couldn't finish. That was a match that they just could not finish. Qatar converted on their one chance. But
here's the thing. Qatar doesn't have Santi Jimenez. That's what pissed me off, was that we had arguably the best striker talent-wise that we could have available for that national team.
Hot take. He is trash, bro.
I disagree.
Bro,
I don't think he's trash.
That was my first time I ever seen him. That was my first time ever watching him.
Bad day.
Watching him,
yeah, bad day to watch him, because he missed a lot of opportunities. But that made me nervous, was that I feel like he was so off that if he has a bad day for Mexico, we're just not, like, Mexico's just not scoring. Like, that's what's crazy about that. Whereas the U.S., right, and we'll talk a little more about U.S. in depth. Ferreira's getting all the goals, but Vasquez can score. He did miss a sitter, and that one in the final game was either way. We were already up against Trinidad, and we were just padding the stats. But Santi was just off, man. I don't know what it is, but I will say this: at 22 years old, he is still the best striker Mexico has. He's lethal. He played in the Europa League this past season. I'm expecting big things from him on the club and country fronts this coming season.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me finish the groups real quick. Group C, Panama, Costa Rica through. Panama 7, Costa Rica with 4, and Guatemala and Canada through in Group D. Guatemala with 7, Canada with 5. Go ahead, Harry, with what you were going to say. So
here's my question. I lost my train of thought here. Actually, continue going. I lost. It had to do with. Oh no. Ferreira is 22, and the Mexican striker's 22. Who is the best? If you were to kind of say, because Ferreira also had the opportunity to play for Mexico, is my understanding as well.
No, he actually had a chance to play for Guatemala.
Guatemala. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think he's Guatemalan. And I don't think there was ever really a chance. Like I don't think he ever debated not playing for the U.S. men's national team. But bro, if you got to give the edge to someone holistically, right? It's got to be Santi. It's because he's playing in Europe already. He's already there. No matter what, and I will say this: Ferreira, the one thing he has going for him is that Triple G is back. Greg Berhalter is back. He doesn't mind incorporating MLS talent, has kind of a soft spot for them. That's the only strike I will really give on Greg Berhalter, because the results-wise, I mean, he's better winning percentage. He has better winning percentages than Bob Bradley, Jurgen Klinsmann, or Bruce Arena. And Bruce Arena is like men's national team royalty. So he's, Berhalter is not like a pretty solid coach, but my gripe about him is that he does have a soft spot for MLS. So that means Ferreira is not going to be incentivized to go to Europe early so that he can have a better run in with the national team, or to get a spot for the next World Cup. Like he can still do that being an MLS striker. I think that hurts the men's national team chances. And because of that alone, I put him slightly behind Santi. Santi's already in Europe. He's already doing it. And I think, he even got knockout round competition at European tournaments this past season.
Ferreira has to go at the end of this season, right? Obviously, I don't think he's going mid-season, but he has to go. He has to go at the end of the MLS season, though, right?
I think so. I think so. I think if he doesn't, it'll seem like he's a Landon Donovan. He's comfortable. Yeah, like he's just, you know what, man, I'm comfortable. I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep playing in MLS. And there's some nobility in that, right? Oh, maybe he's trying to grow the league. Maybe he wants, FC Dallas to continue to, he's so directly tied to the club. Maybe, who knows, man? Maybe they'll find creative ways of keeping him here too. But at the end of the day, if he were to go, I think he needs to end up somewhere similar to Santi. Santi went to Feyenoord, right? So in the Eredivisie, where Pepe is now, that type of competition, I think, would be a good step up. What I would hate to happen is if Ferreira were to quickly move like Pepe did over to the Bundesliga, for example, and it's just too big of a jump, right? And it's so clearly above him. So I don't know. I love seeing him for FC Dallas. I think it'd be amazing. But I said the same thing about Pepe, and now I'm just as happy for him. And I think today or yesterday the move was confirmed for him, right? Sealing the move to PSG today. Yeah. So Ferreira,
and he's gonna get loaned to Austin. So
okay, yeah, right. That would be the dream for my perspective for him as an individual player. Dallas will miss him, but right now, because Santi's in Europe, he's already got a leg up.
Yeah,
I like it. We got the fixtures right here. Let's see, July 9th, Guatemala, Jamaica, also USA, Canada. And then July 8th, the day before that, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Panama, and Qatar.
And that Mexico game is not straightforward. I know a lot of fans. I've seen a lot of videos already coming out on
even
YouTube.
The Canada game. I
mean, it's not
Canada's bad right now, but still, yeah.
Canada's broke. They're not bad. They're broke, and I think that's hurt them. That's hurt the morale. But they're still talented. I don't know. I think Mexico rebounds. To be honest with you,
I think talented is a strong word. I think it's a strong word, Harry. I think Canada has like a few, in my opinion, studs in terms of players. They have a world-class talent in Alphonso Davies. I wouldn't put Jonathan David as world-class just yet.
Their
Well, outside of
strikers are
that,
better than their top 2 strikers are probably top in CONCACAF. I'm not saying comparatively, but if you're talking about striker wise, now defense and midfield outside of Davies, I agree with you, and goaltending as well. But I think up top, as far as being able to score and put it in the back of the net, they proved it. They won CONCACAF qualifying last year
and did nothing with it. And didn't get
well,
out of the group.
In the World Cup, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. And so it just showed that you don't have to necessarily get the top spot to be the best team. I think the best team, when it mattered most, advanced to the next round, right? So I don't know. I've had this conversation before. I'm curious for your guys' take on it. This whole idea of who the best striker in CONCACAF really is. I do think for me, it's got to be between, of course, right, David and Balogun, and I think that both played in the same league conveniently this past season. David finished with 3 more goals than Balogun did. I think, I've heard some other channels out there compare, or I should say, they said it was wrong to compare Balogun to someone like David, and that he's a better comparison to someone like Kyle Larin, which I think is a massive disrespect. I think Kyle Larin is like 28 years old, was starting for a relegated Spanish side, and didn't produce anywhere near what Balogun was doing. So I don't know. Who do you take though, Harry? Do you take Jonathan David, or do you take Florian Balogun if you're putting a team together?
I think right now I'd probably lean David, but it's so close.
It is very close. What about you, RB?
I mean, same. It's close. I think it's just gonna have to play out.
Coin flip.
Yeah.
I take Flo.
This weekend.
But again, maybe my Arsenal bias is also coming into it. Yeah. And I will say this, like hopefully guys like Ferreira and Vasquez can challenge Balogun and keep him competitive and sharp as we lean more towards Copa America and like other major tournaments. But
2 hat tricks, bro. Come on.
The issue with Balogun is he hasn't had a lot of time to be able to prove it. That's with the U.S. men's national team level, which is
right. Striker wise, he's a great striker, but at the level
and playing for country is a little bit different for whatever reason.
Different.
He has 14 less caps than Ricardo Pepi and has the same amount of goals against Mexico. So I hear you. I'm not.
But you're comparing him to David, though. Comparing him to David.
That's fair.
I think the potential's higher, but as far as if you're asking me today, I think you have to go with David, just based on history. But it's a coin flip, and when's the next window? I think sometime September-ish. I think they got some friendlies. I think they announced against Cupcakes.
Yeah, well, at the same time that U.S. is playing like Oman and Uzbekistan and all those guys, right? So, I think we'll see how it all kind of pans out. I do think when we host the next World Cup, I think that'll conclusively favor Balogun. In my opinion, I'm making a hot take right now. I think Balogun's gonna figure it out. I think at 21 years old, he looked good against Mexico. He's looked good for Arsenal in the past. I mean, it does kind of suck that he couldn't break into Arsenal's front lineup, considering that I don't think we have the best strikers out there. He needs to go to a club in Europe where he's going to be consistently starting like he was at Reims this past season. And if that happens in a league that's better than Ligue 1, who's progressively gotten worse through this transfer window, I think it's going to look good, especially now with Pulisic going to Milan. I think I would love to see Balogun go to Serie A. I think it'd be amazing.
So before we move on from the Gold Cup here, we do have to address Mexico and the fans. One of my co-hosts with Rafa went over to Houston, I think is where it was. He mentioned that there were fights, between Mexican fans there. Nothing to what happened in Santa Clara, where somebody unfortunately got stabbed. And we had the discussion on our show that it's a U.S. Mexican fans. When you go in country, that shit doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So what does Mexico have to do to stop it? Is it stop playing in the United States for X amount of time, which is a loss of revenue for them? I guess in Mexico, they take pictures of everybody that comes in and through there. What's your guys' thoughts? Just because unfortunately, that is a theme coming out of this Gold Cup tournament. Unfortunately for Mexico, to me is another, negative beside the P chant is fan on Mexican fan, violence, fighting, whatever you want to call it.
I don't want to bar the Mexican fans because they deserve a ton of negative credit for everything that's happened so far in this tournament. But I will also say that, like, where the hell is CONCACAF? Like where's the federation, man? Like,
security, where is
the
it?
region? Yeah. They're and everything down to the minute details. Has anybody seen like CONCACAF's patches that are on these kits that are just falling off as players are playing? It looks low grade all the way through the entire production, and that comes also down to security. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, fans are the most valuable commodity that we have in this game. They have to be protected at all costs, and the fact that there have been multiple incidents. Yes, it's almost solely Mexico's fan base, but I also think that there need to be, if we know that going in, why are we not preparing enough in advance? It blows my mind.
No, I think it's going to come down to what Harry said, just going X amount of time where they just ban fans, and then.
But
I think it's going to take, because nothing else. I mean, they're not going to ban time.
They're not going to ban fans. They're not going to play in the United States for a period of time. Because Jose is right, you shouldn't ban the fans, because the fans we saw what happened during COVID with no fans. It sucks.
Yeah.
So you gotta have the fans, but to me, do you take a year out or 6 months out from the United States just to kind of calm down? There's got to be more security, both within within the Mexican Federation, within CONCACAF, within the staff that's been playing here at the United States. You've got to have more security in regards to it, and it's got to come down. I don't think finding Mexico for U.S. based Mexican fans, it doesn't do anything because they're not losing out.
Doesn't do anything. It's all going to come back to. I think I agree with you. I think the solution is to take these matches back to proper Mexico. That's it. I mean, if you have true, authentic fans who are just embracing the game and are creating an atmosphere that's going to allow these guys to feel supported without the violence, yeah, absolutely.
And they'll travel. Let's be honest. Mexican fans travel. They're known to travel.
Oh, yeah. So, I would say that they're almost top 10 globally in terms of traveling, right? I mean, Moscow 2018 was like perfect proof of that, right? Like just dancing in the streets until 5 a.m. after beating Germany on a 1-0. So it's, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. That's what I would do is if you're going to punish anybody, it probably is the Mexican American fans here. And rightfully so. I think what we saw in Santa Clara for me was the last straw. It was like, if people are getting shanked at the games, like the fact that you see a knife clear as day in somebody's hand on multiple replays, like how does that even happen? It makes me scared to take my new son or anybody, families, anybody to games. There's no way. Nope.
I don't know if you know this player, but Rodrigo Lopez, he's Mexican American. He's played for RGV, plays for Sacramento. He's probably one of the best midfielders in the game. Veteran. He posted on Twitter that his son asked him, "Hey, why aren't we going?" He's like, "I ain't taking him to the Mexico game." Yeah. To me, that was the big warning sign to me when you have somebody that plays the game at a high level, not me, hey, I'm a keyboard warrior, talking shit online, but somebody that actually plays the game, somebody that actually has dedicated his life to game, not feeling comfortable to take his young son who asked to go to the game. That says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trust me. Like I don't know. I don't think my wife, because we talked about it as soon as like it happened. I was like, I don't think she's ever, until they figure out the security issue, I don't think she's ever going to feel comfortable going to a Mexico game. We've been to U.S. men's national team games. We've met people there, made friends. Like it's always been a decently good time. They're not always in this part of the country, so we have to travel for those. But yeah, I think that's going to be how we scratch that itch from a international play perspective. But unfortunately, those fans, they've ruined it for kind of everybody on this side.
Mm-hmm.
For the short term.
I agree. All right, so moving forward, Ferreira, like I said, 2 hat tricks, man.
Can we
taking a break though from
and look,
Dallas,
give me like a minute to go on a rant here, because I think at the end of the day, man, why the hell is everybody so upset about Ferreira scoring goals?
Everyone knows how I feel about look, I hate Dallas, right? And I hate Houston. Okay. Like I hope y'all lose every game in the season,
Yeah.
But I can appreciate a good soccer player, and watching Ferreira play soccer it's pretty fun to watch. It's good. So I don't get it either. I don't understand the hate, especially the MVP rankings in MLS. Like the disrespect is just everywhere, bro. Everywhere.
Bro, the Pirate of the Caribbean memes, like all of these things, bro. I'm just like, it's funny. Don't get me wrong. It's hilarious. But like at the same time, what do you want him to do? Not score the opportunities he's supposed to score, right? Like, I don't get it. He doesn't control the schedule. He doesn't control who's put in front of him. He's given a job to do, and he's doing it. And more importantly, how many players of yesteryear have gotten the exact same matches against the exact same opponents and not delivered the goals that he's delivering?
Get him.
Come on, man. Like I just think at some point, yes, people. I got into a fight with Jay Hernandez on Twitter about this because he says he's a of course, if anybody follows USMNT Twitter, you probably know who that is. He's got an avid following now. But he just kind of said that point blank, I'll support this team, but I won't support mediocre players. To me, that makes zero sense. I think you either support the badge and everything it stands for, or don't support. Just don't call yourself a fan, bro. Because at the end of the day, yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't know mediocre players scored hat tricks. I consistently.
Well, to me that doesn't even make sense. Because what, you can go back 10 years ago, and the entire United States team was mediocre at best. You maybe had one or two solid players, but now we've got, I guess you could say we're in our golden age right now as far as
this is our B team, boys. This is our B team.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And we got a guy on a B team who's not Balogun, who's not Pepe, that's out there scoring back-to-back hat tricks. Like, why are we mad about this? Why do we go to toxicity more than anything else when talking about these players? Like, it's like, bro, either support the team or move over and let the real fans shine through. I don't know, man.
We talk about the negativity of Mexico being, the fan violence along those lines. The negativity of U.S. soccer is the social media toxicity of, whether it's, MLS base versus European base, or, you get in these camps and it's just, that's the problem with the United States. And it's turned people off, just because you can't have you can't have a conversation like this without, it's like talking politics, and it's a no-win situation right now.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we're smacking teams. That's what's crazy about it. It's like literally like I don't know what the goal differential. It's like plus 15 or something, and we're still having these conversations about it's like when Jackson Ewell got called up, right, for the latest injured player on the men's national team, and the amount of hate that man's got because he's not the most stellar player in MLS. He plays for the Earthquakes. I mean, I understand, right? We probably have some other talent we could call upon, but like maybe the manager, maybe BJ just wants to see what this guy can do in this environment, right? I mean, it's not going to hurt us much to see what he can do. I mean,
what's wrong with giving him a cap?
Yeah.
Seriously, for talent or no talent, I think the expectations for the United States going into this was, it wasn't our A team. We didn't bring in our manager. We kept, with the substitute manager. And I think going in, people were like, hey, what we do, as long as we don't go out in the first round, boom.
Yeah.
But it's just nuts. And I know expectations are raised, both for United States and Mexico. If they don't meet in the finals, it's a disappointment. But
they're in two different places, Harry. Like two completely different places. Like US is playing with house money, kind of having their B team out there. I think
you say that, but if they fail, what's going to happen. Especially if Jesus misses a goal, shit's going to come down.
On social media, yes. I think nothing happens at the federation level. I think nothing affects his stock with Greg Berhalter. I think nothing really changes from his personal day-to-day. I think at this point he's probably just tuning out the noise. Because he at this point he gets hate for almost everything, really. I mean, I know when he scored that winner against Austin, everybody came after him for the Messi celebration. When at the end of the day, it's a rivalry match, and he flexed the way that honestly I would have flexed. I would have taken my shit off and thrown it in front of the supporters too. I probably would have thrown the kit at them. But at the end of the day, that's, I think he's just used to it, and nothing will affect his stock with the national team at this point. It's just how the fans react.
Come try it, bro. Come throw that shit at me.
Well, it depends which kit, though, right? Is he throwing the Inter Miami kit, or is he throwing the FC Dallas kit?
After last week, I definitely could have flexed this one. I could have flexed this one a little bit. But I
think shout out North End, man, because we ended up picking up Messi in that best ball draft. So
Oh yeah, did you? Now he's pro.
We almost had a chance for Ferreira. Who was it? We Are Austin TV dropped him like at the end. And
Ferreira. And
it's just great. I mean, if we would have got him, that would have been amazing. I think that it's great that he's carried over his goal scoring form from Dallas into the national team, and I just hope when the Gold Cup is over that he carries that back into regular play for FC Dallas, and we just keep things rolling.
So speaking of FC Dallas here, a mixed week, right? You guys beat LAFC 2-0 at home, but then also 4th of July, not such a great result against DC United, a 1-0 loss.
No, and look, guys,
hey, 6 points in the last 7 games, bro.
Yeah. It's look, man, it's a quick turnaround, and I knew like if anybody watched FC Dallas play against LAFC, that was one of the hardest fought victories I had seen in a while from Dallas. Like everyone putting in a shift, which you see it from the starters week in and week out. I think when you see it from guys like Bernie Kamungo, when you see Sam Junka out there, like, you know, combining 1-2s to get that last minute goal that he got, like that, it was just a ton of work that everybody put in. It's hot as hell. You have a 48-hour turnaround for the next game. I think DC United played well. I really do. I think that they had decent possession, but man, if anybody like watched both matches, the difference in how the match felt from LAFC, which I was at that game, to DC United, it felt like two completely different teams. The energy was completely off the DC United match. Honestly, the DC game was boring. If you were a neutral, that game was bad to watch. Yeah,
turned it off.
Yeah, it honestly, I was sitting there on stream watching it, and I was like, if I didn't have to do this for my stream, I don't even know if I'd be watching it. It was that bad. And then when DC scored, it was slow possession on both sides almost the entire game. There really wasn't any quick counter-attacking soccer whatsoever. And in MLS, that's really saying something, because that's really kind of how Dallas is set up. I like that DC tried to control the tempo of the match from their perspective, right? Slow things down, but it was too slow for the casual soccer fan here in the States.
And to be fair for DC United, they did play at Nashville on the first as well, so they were coming in on short rest as well. So.
Yeah, it looked like it. Both teams looked tired. Nobody wanted to high press or high pressure. We were just like letting them have the ball. They were letting us have the ball. No one wanted to dink in little crosses or passes. Like, I was like, man, dude, this is gonna be 90 minutes of just teams trying to very slowly break each other down. And it was, I mean, DC, granted, good goal. I applaud it, but I don't think either team really played exceptionally well. It was just a slow game that somebody had to win, I guess, and DC got it. Props to them and their team. I was encouraged seeing Paxton come in against LAFC, seeing Paxton come in against DC United. That was big for me. I did hear, boys, Ariola's back in training. Now, we all know how I feel about Ariola on this show. I think that, you
BFF.
know, yeah.
He's your Rigoni.
Yeah, he's my Rigoni. He is my my enigma, man. He was sent down to this earth to test me as a fan. But at the end of the day, he's back. We could use him, man. I mean, what was so upsetting about the DC United game was that there was 2 clear chances that we actually could have used to win that game. Both hit post. And you almost wonder if it wasn't O'Brien or Endel or Nsabalang taking those chances, if it was someone maybe like Ariola or maybe like Ferreira taking those chances, maybe we win that game. I'm just glad to see someone of DP status be available for our upcoming matches. So we have Colorado coming up. I feel better going into that game, even away, because it's Colorado. So I think 2-0 should be more than doable if we did 2-0 against LAFC. So that's kind of my prediction for that game. But hearing that Ariel is back in training makes me feel better. He won't be back for Colorado, but I think he'll be back for the next game after that.
Yeah. And then Sunday, that's a big wait for the U.S. to play. Ferreira still out until at least Sunday, and then if they win, out
Gotta
even longer.
Keep it going, man. I don't know. Hey, look, Kamungo has what? 2. He scored against LAFC. And granted, it was the scrappiest goal you could ever imagine. You know, a long throw in by Junka, dances around the box for a little bit, he slams it home. I mean, I'll take those goals all day, but they're not sustainable over a long period of time. Like, at some point, we're going to have to get Ferreira back, or dude, if Mulatto is our best secondary or third option coming off the bench, boys, we are screwed. Like I will say this right now, Mulatto.
You're screwed. I'm good.
Yeah. I was like, we as an S Dallas fans, we are screwed. Like
you're screwed too, man. Don't worry about it.
Mulatto does not look good.
Frisco.
He have you guys seen him play? Like I don't know who to compare him to, but his touches, his work rate, nothing is really that great. And then past that all, I'm just waiting on Ansa to be ready. Our new signing from the Israeli league. Like at least that guy's got fresh legs. We did bring Dante Sealy back from PSV on his 2-year loan. We're getting some pieces finally into the mix after all these injuries. So I'm just hoping more consistent positive results come.
So if the U.S. wins, you probably won't get it. That means they'd play on the 12th for there, which is a Wednesday. I'm not sure he would turn around and play that following weekend. And, of course, the final of the Gold Cup is the 16th. So if the U.S. wins against Canada, you're looking at probably the 23rd, the weekend of the 22nd, 23rd, before realistically you pull him back, because you're going to give him some time.
Yeah, and then he's going to go to All-Star break too to top it off. So it's like you can't forget about any of that stuff too. So I'm just assuming that for most the 19th. So I'm just assuming that after Gold Cup, he's going into that.
Yeah, so you're not going to see him until Leagues Cup.
Yeah. That's basically what I told myself when all of this started. Was like, I'm assuming US goes all the way to the final. I'm just assuming that. And then he has MLS All-Star break. So I'm just thinking Leagues Cup is the next time we see Ferreira.
So you get Colorado tomorrow, which you figure, I'm a semi-Rapids fan. They were the first MLS team that I went to and from my home state. But they're crap. So that one should be win. But then you travel to Seattle the following Saturday, and
I think we get Ariola back for that Sounders match. So that one to me will be interesting. Again, it's if we have Kamungo ready to go up top with Ariola and Velasco on either side of him, there could be something interesting there. If Paxton's ready to start in the midfield with Leggett, again, I think we could just create more opportunities. The big thing that I feel has come from all of these injuries and Ferreira being out in international play has been Quignon and Cerrillo. I was critical of Edwin Cerrillo coming into this season. I think that he looked very young, very naive at times on the ball. He's actually been a revelation these last couple of weeks. I think him and Quignon, they're not creative, but they're a good tandem together. And if you put one creative outlet in front of that duo, it looks like it's a pretty solid midfield. So I think these last couple weeks against LAFC, those two boys, Cerrillo and Quignon, put in a shift. And against that, Bouanga couldn't score. He couldn't get real good chances. They had a lot of possession. I think that we played them perfectly.
Any final thoughts on Dallas before we do a quick recap
I just have
of
one.
Houston?
I just have one. You said that the All-Star game is July 19th?
Yes.
Leagues Cup starts the 21st of July. Yep. Mm-hmm. So he'd probably be out for that too.
Maybe. At least the first match.
We'd be missing Gallagher and Driussi and not Driussi this year, which was shot. It's from the beginning of the season. If you were to tell me that he'd be missing the All-Star game, I would be like, nah, bro. But
which is why it surprises me. Man. Again, Austin fans let him off the hook way too easily. He hasn't done much this season, and you gotta think, right? Like, why are we holding other players?
Well, but you gotta also give him he hasn't.
We're not Austin yet. Hold on, we're not Austin yet.
But yeah, so he's missing that game of Ferreira. He's missing so we'll stay on track.
I think he misses one. I think he misses one Leagues Cup match, and he's back for the other two. And that's what I'm assuming, because I'm also assuming that the U.S. goes to the final.
Right, at least one. One. I mean, at least two, but he'll miss that first one.
Yeah.
Houston Dynamo. Sam, where you at, man?
He's on the road to San Antonio of all places. Why he's coming here? San Antonio FC plays tonight, but we're in Memphis, so not sure why he's coming. But
he should have came to Austin, because Austin FC too plays the Dynados.
I wonder if he's really coming to. I wonder if he's really going to that match, and he just didn't want to fess up. But
I don't know. Yeah, right. Maybe. He may be, but yeah, Austin FC2 is taking down Dynados.
We've never seen him.
Yeah, we've never seen him, so we don't even know what he looks like. He's probably going to be one of the kids that are right there waiting for an autograph.
I mean, so Houston took on. So the last game was against who? Seattle.
Seattle 1-0. They got a red card. 1-0. Respectable. the problem with Houston right now is they're decent to good at home, but on the road,
They're
I don't know
great
if
at
it's
home.
a young tomb or whatever. They can't put it together. And I'm not saying a 1-0 loss to Seattle was bad, because that's respectable, but that's following a 3-0 loss to, at home on the road to Austin.
Yeah.
For them, they're lucky enough where tomorrow they play, a rivalry match against Sporting Kansas City. So that'll be tough. And then they have a
huge match.
Huge match. Then they turn around, host Minnesota United on Wednesday. So they've got 2 matches coming back this week, back to back in Houston. So hopefully you have a successful week. And then they get to travel to Colorado next Sunday. For that here. So schedule for them favorable with the 2 home matches and then facing Colorado. They do have another match at Orlando on the 21st no, that's Leagues Cup. Pardon me. That's Leagues Cup on the 21st.
See, here's the thing. And we're saying favorable because it's at home, but I don't know what happens if these 2 potential playoff caliber teams that they're playing at home turn around and get results, right? If they get results, then Houston's got more problems to worry about than whether or not they're on the road, right? So I don't know. There's a lot to pay attention to. I think the Sporting Kansas City match is going to be tough. I think they're coming into like a crazy.
This weekend is telling for all 3 of us. I really
the
do.
West in general, probably.
Yeah, because right now Dallas sits in 5th place, Houston in 7th place, Austin in 8th, all above the playoff line. But I mean, let's see, Portland is 4 points out of 8th, and they're in 12th. So you lose 2 games back to back, you're sitting out of the playoffs real quick.
Yeah, and equally, Dallas is 6 points off of the top, right? And I think it just shows you kind of how close and how I think some people, when you compare it to the East, right, will say that the West is just bad right now, maybe, or just inconsistent, right? They can't figure out who's going to be the top dog in this conference versus the East, where it feels like there's nothing but powerhouses with Cincy, with New England, with Philly. So
but is that because the West is more balanced?
I don't think so. I think if that was the case, I think we would see less volatility with the results, right? To see Houston go from up and down this way, even Seattle, they beat Houston 1-0, but then they'll turn around and lose to the Galaxy like 2-0. So Dallas, same thing. We'll beat LAFC and then we'll turn around and lose to DC. And so Austin, they'll win back-to-back derby matches and then they'll tie.
We're not talking Austin yet, bro. Harry's gonna get mad.
with
I don't want to be an Austin podcast as an FC Dallas fan pointed out that, hey, there's the shows that say, hey, they're not Austin based or Texas tend to be more Austin focused.
Oh, come on. I could have told you that months ago.
Yeah,
I could have told you that months ago.
We're not the striker Texas.
Look at El Tráfico, right? Look at El Tráfico, and even that, right? Just LAFC losing the way they did to LA Galaxy. We're still trying to figure it out. So it's like, I think the West is. We don't know how this table is going to end up come playoff time, but and I don't know if it means we're worse, but I am scared of the boys out in the East. I think that they have some tried and true consistent teams over there.
Don't sleep on LA Galaxy though. Since they made the change, they got their supporters back. It seems like that.
And I heard they might get Pizarro, right? They might get Pizarro from Miami. That's the rumor.
He's got to go somewhere. MLS is going to put him.
You would know.
But
yeah, I would know, right? Not now that this is my new team.
Well, he's not happy about it as being reported because I don't think he wants to go, but he's being forced out. Due to the 4DP rule.
Because it's number 10.
We need you to free up that jersey, bro. You've been good to us, but you're no longer of service. And so I think it's that, but I also think it's like he's not going to go to Mexico because he needs to make MLS money, and so DP MLS money. So I just think Galaxy is going to be his best bet. I don't even know where he fits into that side, to be honest. Because you move away from Boyd. I don't know. We're not an LA Galaxy podcast, so that's for them to figure out. But
my point is, the only team that's really out of it's the Rapids. I think to get to 9 is only 6 points between LA Galaxy and Vancouver to get that spot. 7 points to get to Austin for that here. So,
but Dallas is in 5th, and we've beaten LAFC. I would venture to say we could even.
Well,
go to
Houston's
Seattle
beat LAFC twice, back-to-back games.
Exactly, and look at where everybody's placed right now. Right, we've beaten St. Louis 2-0. Like it's a weird conference, weird year for the West. I don't know how it's all going to shake out, but I do think that July and first half of August are going to be massive.
St. Louis still in first place.
Crazy, I'm telling you, and
still in first place,
and we
inaugural
beat
team.
them. Yeah, and they've lost other games too to teams that are worse than Dallas. They haven't lost that many games, but they've dropped some that you're just like it's kind of a head scratcher. So I don't know. We'll see how it all pans out.
We'll see.
So let's get to everybody's favorite team, Austin. That watches the show.
That's your favorite team, Harry. We know. Everybody knows.
No, it's
not.
Man,
you could argue Austin or Inter Miami fans too. You can argue.
Yeah.
Hey, you made that team look good, bro. Y'all made that team look good. A team without Messi, a team without Boosie, a team without Jordy. Y'all made that team look good.
I wonder how many fans travel to see Messi.
I was going to say they're plastic as well, but
Hey, whoa! Calm down with the plastic word. Calm down.
I mean, technically, by most people's definition, I'm a little plastic now too with the Inter Miami gear. But look, bro, I'm Barcelona first and foremost.
I would never. The only team that I may buy something from is San Antonio, because their USL team, I rock with them even before MLS.
I call BS on that though.
But that's it. That's it.
Hold on. Who's your favorite Real Madrid player?
Yeah, who's your favorite Real Madrid player?
Yeah.
But hey, what do you mean? Like ever?
Who is it?
Let's say if Benzema came over, right? Because he played with Real Madrid, right? If he came over to
dude, I'm not even gonna get the Messi jersey. What do you mean?
But you're not a Barcelona fan though.
Okay, I was gonna say that if Ronaldo came.
If Ronaldo went to Sporting Kansas City like he was supposed to, when that was
if Ronaldo went to Houston Dynamo, I would have a Houston Dynamo.
Exactly, bro. Jersey. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I know, bro. You have to. And it's not even plastic.
But the thing is that he's not coming, so you can't call me that right now. All right.
No,
so
that's fair. That's fair, bro. I'll rock it. I'll own it. If it comes to anybody on this show, boys, I'm as plastic as they come. We'll take it. You know what? I'll get the black one too. The pink is just a start. The pink.
We know that.
The black one. I'm
being in Frisco and you call yourself FC Dallas. We know it's plastic.
Hey, bro. Hey, listen. Fifth
win
above Austin and Houston.
Win a
above
cup,
Austin and Houston.
They might move you to Dallas,
bro. So we don't even need Ferreira to be ahead of you guys at the table.
Now.
We don't even need Ferreira. That's crazy.
You can get a ring.
Before we move to Austin, let's talk about the Inter Miami Messi building Barcelona all-star team here. Number one,
yeah. So
how are they doing it? Number two,
yeah.
Hey man,
let's how do you see it working out?
You got to bend the rules a little bit. You got to bend the rules.
Let's run it this way real quick. Let's just say that Austin and Inter Miami, they tied 1-1 this past weekend, and without Messi, without the team that's forming now, which is what Harry is talking about. If you don't know by now, you're sleeping under a rock, like literally. Inter Miami.
Not watching this show if you don't know.
And you're not watching Texas Ring of Fire. You need to watch Texas Ring of Fire a little more. I had an argument with Marcos the other day, and he was like, "Bro, how did those first two matches not count for Copa Tejas?" And I was like, "Dude, what are you talking? Like, do you not watch the show?" But anyways, yes, Inter Miami, they're building FC Barcelona 2.0 essentially with Messi coming. They got Busquets already not
confirmed.
He's confirmed.
Yeah, he signed. And Jordi Alba is on the cusp of being there. Yeah,
on the cusp, and they got Tata Martino as coach already there. So I mean, I don't know what else. Suarez is probably gonna come through.
I thought Suarez was gonna come. He might. I don't know if it's gonna be as a player, just because I heard he's thinking about hanging it up due to like intense knee pain, but.
Iniesta's gonna come and be a 9.
I did hear Iniesta though, and I was like, "Bro, could you imagine?" I think I might actually fly to Miami more than a few times if Iniesta comes. That dude was part of my childhood in a way that most players never were.
And Xavi,
Iniesta, and Xavi, yeah, bro. So, and who knows? Maybe if Xavi somehow gets fired from Barcelona, maybe maybe Inter Miami will give him a call. And he'll just lace it back up.
But my question is,
Beckham's like, "Hey, can I come?"
How are they squeezing these guys in?
They're bending the rules, Harry, and
Bro,
I'm okay with
Harry.
that. This might be a hot take. Most MLS fans will shit on this take, but it's good for the league. It's good for the league.
It's
good for the league.
I think
both.
it's good
It's
for the
both.
perception, but I think because I got it. There's a David guy that's a SAFC fan that's a super MLS.
I've seen him. He and I have had some interactions on Twitter. Yeah.
Him and I have good conversations. We're total.
I don't know how to take that, Jose.
I just imagine when I say interactions, it's always bad. But go ahead.
Okay,
but
I figured.
He's kind of on that extreme side of MLS fanboyish, we'll say.
I love it.
For here, he's a good guy. I've talked to him several times, and we'll have discussions off record and for here. But to me, it's. I'm not saying Miami's breaking the rules, but the perception going from last year, where hey, you had the four DPs, you got fined, busted, took Tam Gam away, whatever the magical numbers is.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, a year later, they've got all this Tam Gam. To me, it's the perception, and if MLS could just get rid of the silly financial rules that it has, then you don't have it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's that perception. I think for the league overall, it's awesome. You can't argue with them, especially if they can perform on the pitch and take Miami from the cellar to a playoff team. It's a huge success. But the perception, and this is what dogs MLS from. I follow the clubs, but I hate the league. And this is part of the reason why I hate the league, because certain organizations, you wouldn't see this happening in Colorado, even though the owners got the money to be able to do it. You wouldn't see this happening in Real Salt Lake, who has made some nice new moves this window here already.
Yep.
So don't sleep on RSL. But it's that perception that it feeds into MLS is going to feed the teams it wants to feed.
I agree. And I will still say
as
that
an Austin fan, Harry is frustrated, guys.
I will say this. I understand. He's not the only one that feels that way, by the way. And you're right. He's a great guy. When I say bad interactions, I mean, like, we just debated, we went back and forth, but I do that with everybody. So I would say, like, most MLS fans, the argument I hear, it's not fair. Right. And my retort to that is MLS is right now trying to build a business, a sustainable business. So they don't care they don't even know what fair means. Fair doesn't mean anything to them. It is what's in the best interest of the league, right? And up to this point, I guess maybe in some ways, I don't see any logic in it, but maybe you can argue that the financial rules were in place to make it a more sustainable business model in some form or fashion, at least to benefit the league as much as it could. But now I can see this being a stepping stone for those types of regulations and rules to be reduced or removed, especially if they prove it out, especially if somehow these players, these ex-Barcelona players coming to Miami somehow boosts the revenue of the entire league, attendance for not just Miami, but for multiple clubs, especially those who never really got strong attendance numbers. I think they were hoping that Joseph Martinez would kind of have some of that effect when he moved over there. And it hasn't been the case. That hasn't translated to anything, including on the field results. So I think if this benefits multiple stakeholders and clubs league wide, nobody's going to care.
Here's where I'm going to push back on you on it. And we've had this argument before. It's the MLS 1.0 owners, the old school owners that are holding this league back for it. Because I think like Blank, the new ownership groups that have come in, I don't know where Precourt is. Maybe RB can kind of, lead a little bit more with that. But to me, it's the
much
old
beers I bought. He's good.
Well, I guess Hunt would be part of it. Up in Dallas, one of the MLS 1.0 owners that it's took him how many years before he's really, he's invested in the academy. So I'm not saying he's not investing, but he's not investing in the entire organization.
No, and he's still selective. The Hunt family is still selective. Like, they don't invest in the personnel per se, like the on the field personnel. We rely on the academy, and they invest heavily. Like, bring the National Soccer Hall of Fame to Dallas to Frisco. Mm-hmm. That's the type of investment they'll make, but it's not going to go out and splash cash on players. Like, they just don't do that. So I think they're selective about it. But I think also this could be proving grounds even for them, right? Show MLS 1.0 owners if what happens, right? If you actually take the time to invest in your club with players strategically, right? And I say strategically because in my opinion, Messi can still ball. Boosie can still ball. Last season, he was the starting defensive mid for Barcelona. It's not like he's been on the bench and kind of writing it out. Jordi Alba, you can argue he came up in some big matches for Barcelona last season, but Valde kind of took his spot already. But I mean, Messi and Boosie were still in Champions League last season, starting for European powerhouses and making waves. Like, how is that not good for MLS, even if it is foregoing the DP rule? I just think at the end of the day, it's going to, in my opinion, my prediction is it will do more good than harm. And it's going to force some of these 1.0 club owners to really think about forward-thinking decisions and trying to mirror some of the success, provided they get it, that Inter Miami has had.
And I'll give MLS a bone here because former FC Dallas Reggie Cannon was on Football Americas.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great interview for that here. But he mentioned in Portugal in the past 3 years, he's only been paid on time once.
That's crazy.
And I'm friends with a guy that's an owner for Phoenix Rising, who's a former MLB player, and he's saying it's going to become a much more important factor going on. The quality of life, the facilities, and the fact that whether it's USL or MLS, to be able to know, hey, on the 15th, if my check's supposed to be there, it's going to be there. And I think you're going to start to see, because we've seen China, blow up and then all of a sudden have issues. Qatar, you don't know what's going to happen in Qatar, Saudi Arabia. They've got enough money they can just print. Doesn't matter. But I think that the United States, just where it has that, the quality of life, the facilities are finally catching up, both at MLS and USL. Come on, New York City FC, get your shit done. I think you're going to see more players like Messi and along those lines, not at 34, 35, 36, whatever his age is, come over maybe late 30s, late 20s, early 30s because of the guaranteed paychecks. I
agree. And then, look, guys, it's not the first time we've seen it, right? I think this gateway that Messi's creating for some of this to happen also happened with Beckham back in 07. Yep. I think that, I think it paved the way for the Galaxy to acquire Robbie Keane, to acquire Steven Gerrard, to make investments in these types of players that still can play at a high level but are choosing to play here in the States. So, that Reggie Cannon interview was honestly, he shed a light on a lot of stuff, including the atmosphere, right? Like how Boa Vista is miles ahead of, when he used to play at FC Dallas, playing in Frisco in front of that, even in a sellout crowd, playing in that environment, and how much further along soccer is globally as opposed to the States. So there was a lot of kind of just gems in that interview that anybody can go pick up on their own. But I just think that what we saw with the Beckham era and how many players ended up coming as a byproduct of that move, I think it's going to be that on steroids with Messi. I think we're going to see more personalities that are still in their more players, that are still in their early 30s or still able to play at a very high level, consider MLS as a viable option.
And don't forget, the World Cup in 2026 is also going to be a showcase for the United States, not only, as well. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. I can't wait, man.
So, Austin, did that cover Austin? 1-1 draw, that was it?
Yeah, I mean, y'all hit it right on the head, man.
That's crazy, though, bro. I thought that was in the stands. He wasn't even out there, wheeling out the coaching genius. He was kind of just watching to see.
Joseph Martinez, man, he should have really put a few in. Stuver, though, dude. Stuver being Stuver.
Stuver was good, but Martinez was also. He's just been off all year. Like I don't think he's ever figured it out. I mean, maybe next season
he's been off for a couple of years, though, right? Because he wasn't great with Atlanta last year. So he had that injury, right?
He had the injury, and then I also think he was ready to move on. I also think part of me was like, he was like kind of, I don't want to say forcing his move, because I don't think it's what he was doing, but he was ready. I felt like after Miggy moved on to the Premier League, and that he was just kind of ready to test himself elsewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. So we grab 1 point on the road. The question is whether it's 2 points lost or,
There's no question. It's 100% 2 points lost.
Yeah, 2 points lost. I agree. You have Inter Miami that are last place in the league.
If we had promotion relegation, it would be you guys losing to a relegation team.
The rule of thumb, though, you win at home, you draw on the road.
Yeah, but not. Okay.
That's
Fine.
the
Same
successful
lineup.
formula.
Rigoni on the bench again. Bench again. Ethan Finlay with the start. And this
The
match,
only reason I don't agree with what Harry just said is because if Dallas goes to Colorado and draws, it's going to feel like 2 points dropped. It's not going to feel like I don't care. For me, like how good the team actually is still plays into that.
Do you think that Inter Miami's as bad as Colorado? I don't.
No, but you're still bottom of a fine, maybe the quote unquote better conference, but still bottom nonetheless, and or second to last, whatever it may be. Phil Neville couldn't figure it out. I don't know if Tata could figure it out without these Barca players that are coming in. I think that they just fundamentally kind of have a bad team. And I mean, RB and I talked about it, right? What did we say, right? If Austin go down there and if they get anything less than 3 points from my perspective, it'll feel like a missed opportunity because you played better teams, even if it was at home. You played better teams in derby matches and walked away with not just 3 points in both occasions, but a 3-0 win on both occasions. Like you need to go down there and score multiple goals.
Yeah, smack them. So 2 points lost on the road in Miami. We do have Minnesota this weekend. Minnesota sitting in 11th place. Like I mentioned earlier, Austin FC in 8th place.
Reynoso's
but only 2 points. Yeah, and only 2 points separate us. Reynoso cooking right now. Can't sleep on Reynoso. He's a good player. But I did want to note Vicenen. Everyone's calling for Vicenen to come back. Our center back. He's out till September, it shows on Fault Mob, which it kind of makes sense. He has I can't remember some ligament in his knee, but that ligament, it takes a while to heal. It's not just gonna be done in 6 to 8 weeks. This one I think is a little bit longer, 3 to 4 months actually. So,
but you guys just got that loan from the Union, right?
So we got the loan from Union. We got Brandon Craig from Philadelphia Union, but I did not see him being an automatic starter. I don't see it happening.
But it's depth. It's depth.
It's depth. It's depth. But in my mind, it's a little bit conflicting to me because he's younger than Kip Keller, right? Has less MLS minutes than Kip Keller. So it's just I'm kind of wondering if maybe he's a backup for Kip.
It could be. It could be.
And I think they'll play him down.
I think at this stage of the season, I don't know if you sign a clear-cut starter in this window.
I mean, right now we have Rodolfo Borrell. They just announced him. He was Pep Guardiola's assistant at Manchester City. Hell of a resume, right?
Yeah.
Barcelona, Liverpool, and Man City. He's gonna come, but this player is not one of his doings, right?
No.
He'll be here. I think in the winter we may start seeing some of his signings. Like you said, you don't go and pick up loans or sign anybody right now because why would you whenever you need Rodolfo to cook? We're calling him Rodo over here, so you want Rodo to start cooking. Hey, Chef Boyardee, you know what I'm saying? What are you gonna say, Harry?
I forget who. I don't forget if it was Capital City or We Are Austin TV that mentioned that Austin's looking to bring in 4 players this window.
We Are Austin.
I just don't know if any one of those guys that they bring in are going to be clear-cut starters. I think in the second window.
So Ring. There's a rumor of Ring going out. Gite was just loaned for a year, so that opens up a U22.
Yeah, but he's not coming back.
He's not coming back, but that opens up the U22 roster spot, right? So if Ring leaves or gets bought down to a TAM deal, that opens up enough, for us to be able to wiggle some pretty good money for a DP slot. So that's where everyone. But that's everyone just shaking it down, bro. That's really what it is. It's not anything even concrete and
but
rumors or nothing.
But I think RB had a great point. I think the comparison you make is like someone like a Manchester United, right? Where it's like they're not spending a ton because they don't even know if that ownership group's going to be in place in a year's time. I think it's the same thing. You bring a technical director in who's going to spearhead a lot of that movement, that development with players and bringing talent in. You don't want to sign anybody permanently and then them not be part of the overarching plan. You got to figure out how to turn it around and make a sale. And if you had to make a sale, you probably rush it. You don't bring any profit in from it. It ends up being bad all the way around. So I can see Austin maybe having some more loan players with the option to buy. But I just don't know if they're going to bring in any clear-cut starters this window.
Here's my question for the two of you. And I know you wanted to get this at about an hour, so this might be the final question here. Everybody's grouped up in the West. So the West is wide open.
Yeah.
So using kind of like, the baseball term, are you buyers or sellers? To me, is Dallas a buyer or seller in this market? Meaning, are you going to try to make a push for the playoffs and possibly, a spot, because once you make the playoffs, as we saw, anything can happen. So, are the 3 Texas teams, because they're all in contention, can you see any of them really trying to go, cash all in? Or do you see some just kind of, and I think FC Dallas is more of, hey, we're just going to hold it and what we got is what we got type situation.
I think it just trickles down to
Austin's the wild card and I'll throw Houston in too, because their ownership's a little bit unproven. Well, will they go out and get a piece that makes a difference that could, instead of being 6th, 7th, maybe they get, 3rd, 4th along those lines.
I think it just trickles down to like making it. And if you make it, of course, it's all different ball game. But who's injured, who's there, who's ready, who's in form going into playoffs, I think that's going to be very telling for any team that goes in. And that's pretty much it. I agree. Anybody can win it. I think Frisco could win it. I mean, Dallas, I think Houston could win it, or I think Austin could win it. That was honestly like off the mind, bro. Like I was not trying to.
So here's what I'll say. I think if anybody's in the prime position to be a buyer and to try to go after something this season, it's Houston. I think so. I think that they're in prime position because they don't have many pieces in flux. Like right now, Austin, again, the technical director is coming. It's already a done deal. He's going to want to put his stamp on the club. He's going to want to spend smarter. He's going to want to do what he did with Man City. And a lot of fans globally will say that Man City just signs world beaters when it's not true. They signed Nathan Ake was at Bournemouth, Jack Grealish was at Aston Villa, Ruben Diaz was at Benfica. Like all these players were playing for decent clubs before they came to City, and their staff turned them into monsters. I think that's going to be the approach Austin takes, because you see how wild their spending has been, and you now need to go in a direction where you kind of do what Dallas does, right? You spend a little smarter. Maybe not so much on your academy, but you spend wiser and build the talent up. And so they're in flux for that reason. Dallas just brought back Dante Sealy from PSV, another forward, and we signed Eugene Ansa, the Ghanaian forward from the Israeli Super League. So those two pieces are meant to supplement Ferreira, but I don't think we go out and get another striker. I think in all honesty, we might sign one more defender in case Martinez doesn't come back anytime soon, but that's pretty much it.
So my question here for you, RB, with the new technical director, Coach Wolf, does that change the Wolf in, Wolf out discussion for that here? Because Jose just mentioned he wants to put his mark on the team. Is Wolf under a little bit more of a microscope than he was before?
It depends on the results we get from here on out. I mean, if Wolf shows that he's ready and that he can feel the fire underneath his ass and start getting the results out.
I think it's deeper than results, in my opinion.
It's deeper, yes, but that's where you kind of like the surface, right? Where we can actually see. That's what's going to be telling for us as fans, I feel like. But I think his seat's warmer than anybody in Austin realizes. I think it is a little warm, man.
I think this Rodolfo signing as a director now is pressure. I think if you have a smart person giving you talent, spending wisely in the market, and has a vision for how he wants to piece the team together, and your tactics just blow that up, I don't know, or your lack of tactics or your lack of decision making during matches, and
flexibility.
He just had Pep.
Exactly, right? So and that's another thing. Pep and Rodolfo have been on the same page. It's not just signing a director that can get the pieces together, right?
They were at Barca together, man.
Exactly.
It's the ideology of everything.
And it's not even them. It's those two, and even guys like Shiki, right? Like Shiki has been part of, and he's like more of like a general manager type of role. And I say that meaning like he's more of the broader vision. He was there at Barca. He was there at Man City. He's still at Man City. He worked alongside Pep and Rodolfo as well. I just think that, like, you have to have all those pieces work together. And if they don't work together well, I don't think they're going to kick out the guy that they just shipped in from England. I think they're going to kick out Wolf.
I haven't, nobody's brought that up before. So that's the reason why I wanted to ask your question, because the results haven't been bad. They brought in the new technical director. and it clicked when Jose said he's going to want to put his stamp on it. And to me, I think we go back to wolf in, wolf out, but not in the same mannerisms with the fans. I think it's more with the technical director. So just to touch base with the USL for it here, San Antonio did get
Minnesota loses, bro, 3-1.
3-1. All right, bro. You can be delusional all you want. Go ahead.
USL championship. You lost 3-0, so it wasn't too delusional.
Against Minnesota. All right, bro. I'll watch the game with you.
All right, cool. Thanks.
You're not beating Minnesota 3-0, dude.
USL championship, bro. I just wanted to get you cut me off. I wanted to finish my segment.
But I had a realistic thought and conversation, not some babble of on the road winning 3-0.
I didn't say 7-1, bro. I didn't come on here and say
it's okay. We'll let it stick. We have another show next week. We'll bring it back. Episode 50 is gonna be a banger if that 3-1 doesn't
50.
Stick.
Yeah, y'all better have some.
Might be 3-1 the other
for that one.
We'll
Exactly.
Speaking of 3,
get to the game. Hurry up.
Speaking of 3-1, San Antonio FC beat Birmingham Legion 3-1 in front of their fourth largest crowd in history of over 8,200 people at Toyota Field. MLS, you missed out. El Paso lost their 10-plus game unbeaten streak, lost to rival New Mexico United late 1-0. And RGV had a pretty successful week. They beat Oakland Roots on the road 2-0. And then at the Def, they tied Sac Republic in the 96th minute, 1-1 against the Western Conference leading through there. So RGV, probably the team of the week as far as our Texas Ring of Fire with 4 points, both all on the road. So congrats to RGV for here. But Texas Copa Teos champions on at the bottom of the in 20 minutes. I'm supposed to be going to a watch party, so I got to go, man. I got some beers to drink, or a beer to drink, I guess I should say, because I'll be driving for that beer. So.
Love it, bro. Love it. This is a good one, man. This is a good one.
Yeah, so I'm headed to the Austin FC 2 versus Dynamo match.
Cashing in off of us.
My boy CJ Fodre, good luck, my boy. We're gonna be out there. We'll go taking the family. All of us are going. The little baby. It's fun because she could sit there and like we could watch the game. It's not like at Q2 where it's just like
wild.
Yeah, it's pretty chill. It's family vibes and all that. So gonna go get some cold too. So Houston about to go down. About to go down, bro. Sam's not here to defend himself, so I'm gonna chill because I don't like talking too much shit, you know.
Hey, if we could get an alternative Houston fan that wants to come on with video, I love Sam, but if we can get somebody that can come on with video, and that way there could be a rotation, because I've been off for a couple of weeks. I know Jose's had some time off. RB, you're the host, so obviously you gotta be here for that most of the time. So. But if you're from Houston,
or talking Houston,
El Paso, RGV, if you want to come on, like I said here, and join the banter, please reach out to RB.
You are invited. You are invited. So episode 49, next episode 50, going to be a banger. Goals.tv, guys, do not forget, go over there and sign up. Sign up for the app. Use code FIRE for a lifetime supply of soccer. You won't regret it. I promise.
Definitely won't.
We'll be here again. Let's see, next Wednesday, episode 50 should be episode 50 at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. You guys definitely come join us. I think we should maybe try to add some people to the stream or something. I don't know. Do something kind of different.
Let's make it special, bro. I'm down.
Yeah, do something fun. So
Jose's gonna change kits halfway through.
He's gonna put all 3 kits on,
and I'll still beat you on any debate in both kits all day, every day.
Dang, my guy does not like to lose. He hates it.
Well, I hate losing more than I love winning.
Here's the question: if it's Inter Miami with Messi going against FC Dallas, do we see Jose break out a half shirt of FC Dallas and then a half shirt of Messi?
No,
he has the Messi shirt under the Dallas shirt.
No, you'll see a triple. You'll see a triple, bro. I'm gonna get a triple kit. It's gonna be FC Dallas, Barcelona, and Inter Miami, and then I'm gonna have a scarf or something around it. I do have an FC Dallas scarf, so I can always do that. The Miami kit, my Dallas scarf, and we just rock it, bro. I got a hat.
Toilet paper. Wearing toilet paper. I feel it.
Stop.
All right.
Episode 49, man. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers, boys.
Later, guys.